This thing that I have found is what I would call my gracious space. Hello, folks. Jack Carlisle here with Gracious Spaces, and we are high atop the beautiful town of Old Town Orange, where I call home, and I have a business. And today I am so thrilled to introduce to you someone who is a dance educator, stage artist, and a very, very talented tap dancer, and a good friend of mine, Jason Bernard. Welcome, Jason.
Hey, thank you so much. Hey, Jack, what's going on?
Well, I was going to kind of lead in with you've made your trip from New York all the way here just for me.
It's true. I have.
We can go with that?
Yes,
Okay, good.
yes.
All right. Thank you for traveling all the way.
Thank you. You're welcome.
But so while you're here visiting me
Yes,
and decided to be on
that's
my
right.
podcast, you tied in some other things.
Yes.
And they are work related.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that and what you're doing this week.
Yeah, so I was here performing with the Los Angeles Jazz Company, which was created by Jackie Slight and Will Thomas. They're the directors of the dance company. Mm-hmm. And so it was to bring back jazz dancing, which has so many like facets of it, back to Los Angeles, you know.
Wow.
Just to like give you an idea, like one of the people who were like, they were honoring through bringing the Los Angeles Jazz Company was Michael Peters, who created Thriller, that choreography.
Oh, wow.
So kind of like bringing that really...
No shabby detail.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bringing that choreography, that richness. Yeah.
Well, when you say jazz and you say LA, I immediately go back in time, and that conjures up this picture of just the jazz era in LA. And I know your heart and soul is all things vintage.
It is.
Yeah.
It's my life. It's like number 3 on the list.
Number 3? Oh wait, what's number 1 and 2?
God and tap dancing.
There you go. I love it.
Yes.
But that vision to me tells me what LA, the glamour, it speaks of old Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah. And so what stages in LA have you performed on?
The Pantages. I performed there probably about, 20 years ago or so when I was traveling with Riverdance. And then this theater, what is it called? I feel like it starts with a W. It's a beautiful vintage theater.
Like the Wilton?
The Woo-Bell. Oh, man.
There's an E-Bell, I think.
The E-Bell.
Yeah,
there we go.
E-Bell.
See? You got to talk it out. The E-Bell
Yeah.
and then the Avalon Theater. I think about those. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Riverdance, and so that not only took you to LA, but you traveled the world with that production.
Yes, traveled the world with them. Lived in Ireland for a bit with it. It was great.
And so in doing so, because your schedule is pretty packed now, is it fair to say you love to travel?
Oh, I love the show. It's the best thing. Oh, maybe 3 and 4 vintage. I don't know. May have to switch those numbers.
They're neck and neck. Well, and you're not afraid of veering the course.
No.
And well, like today, we chatted and like, oh, you're here. Hey, come on up.
Yeah.
And you just make things happen.
Yeah, just make them happen. Yeah. I mean, we have that freedom, I feel.
Yeah. We do. And it's up to us to act on that.
Yes.
To participate.
That's right.
And for those who may not, look what you're missing out on.
I know.
There's so much.
I know. And there's so many ways you can access it also.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know, just even just watching YouTube of a place you want to go.
Yeah.
That's kind of, because once it gets in the mind, it lives.
Yeah. One of my goals is the Belmont. The Belmont has a train that takes you through Europe.
Oh, yes. I've seen
a luxury
those.
chain.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool? So
yeah, there was recently that movie. I feel like a Guy Ritchie movie and Brad Pitt, and they were kind of that cool train.
Yes.
That looks
so
pretty.
we're putting it out in the universe.
There it goes.
We're gonna make that happen.
Yeah. I'll go.
No doubt you would. Just got to call you up and tell you what station to be at.
That's right.
So then in traveling, what are some of your favorite locations that you got to experience?
Oh my goodness. Tokyo is just
Tokyo.
It's the best. It's the best.
And what makes it the best to you?
I think I love experiencing other cultures. So that's amazing. the cleanliness, the trains, the high speed trains are wild. The food, the vintage clothing, all of it.
Right? Yeah, the food is where you got me.
Oh yeah,
on that.
superb.
Yeah, it's so cool to go into other places and experience. I have to sidetrack where, like, Lewis and I will travel, and we go down any street, convenience store, or whatever, gas station, and go to the local.
Yes.
And go, where do you have lunch?
Yes, yes, yeah.
and then go that direction.
Yeah, that's the way. When I go to most restaurants, I would say, what do you like on the menu,
Yeah.
and go from there. Because if they're living there all the time, they're going to know the real deal, not the glamour necessarily.
So your hometown is Bronx, New York.
Yeah, the BX.
Yeah, and I know you're very close to your family.
Mm-hmm. Very close, yeah.
And so I think it was age 17 you first got your Broadway debut. Mm-hmm. Take us back a little further than that. When did you know that tap was your world?
So I started dancing when I was 6 years old, and my sister was already in dance school, and I just used to hang out with my mother all day at the dance school, listening to the other parents talk about things. I'm like, oh, this is good. This is good. And Mom was like, no. We got to get you in class. You're getting too much info. But as I was listening to them like talk, which was a rhythm, I was also listening to the drums and the African dance classes and or the tap classes playing. And so I kind of like had this two kind of rhythms going on. Now that I really think about it, the rhythm of speech and of dance. Yeah. And I just loved it. It was music. And so, yeah.
So it's sort of like when you can say, hey, you have an ear for music. You had an ear for dance.
Yeah, really.
So it was already within you.
I never thought about that, yeah.
So your sister's in dance. Mm-hmm. You're going with your mom. Mm-hmm. Did your mom participate in dance? Was that something she or
no,
your dad?
My parents, they didn't dance, but what they did play was show tunes always in the house. They were always playing Dreamgirls, The Wiz, and The Temptations. That's pretty much, yeah. So, yeah.
And so you grew up around it, appreciating it. How many Broadway plays do you see a year yourself?
Oh, my goodness. A lot. So pretty much I see every show that opens on Broadway every year. And that's anywhere, I guess, from about, I think there's 36 Broadway theaters. So I see every show, and sometimes there's 2 shows per theater. So yeah. And then I see off-Broadway, concerts, all of it. It's education.
It is. It is. And each one has something different to offer.
Yeah.
I know we both recently saw Illinois.
Yes.
And you had me a while ago because you're like, what did you think about that? And I'm like, okay, what does he want me to say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Did I like it?
Yeah. Because like when I love a show, I get obsessed with it. And I feel like everybody else should like it because it's right. And
that's a good one to like, though. That was phenomenal.
Yeah. I loved it. I saw it in Chicago. Then I saw it in New York for its like pre-Broadway, and then it's Broadway twice.
Yeah.
So
you've worked with some really heavy hitters in the business. I'm just going to toss out one, Spike Lee.
Yes.
So tell me about that experience. I mean, that's pretty, not everyone can say they've kind of got to work side by side, that man. What a brilliant guy, obsessed guy. What's he like?
Brilliant artist, New Yorker. All of that jazz. So the movie was Bamboozled. It was a satire about race, art, dance, life, all of that. And Spike Lee's just such a really good director that he really knows how to just tell stories and to get the audience involved, you know. And it was great because that was just a really sensitive like subject matter, and to make it a satire so that it has like comedy in it, but truth being, and being directed by him, and also the acting coach, Susan Batson, who is, I believe, Nicole Kidman's acting coach. And so just being around all these like people, meeting Michael Rappaport, Jada Pinkett, Damon Wayans, and working with Savion Glover. Again, I'd worked with him and bringing him up. So it was just like all these like peeps. And like whenever was on the set, I was just listening and observing how things work, because I'd really never been on a movie set before. It was my first movie.
Yeah.
So just seeing like how long a setup takes, I'm like, wow, the setup is like 40 minutes. And so just staying in character and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know, that's a movie where you just mentioned there was a fine line to try to get a story across.
Yeah.
With also being respectful. Of that piece.
Yeah.
So really cool. And so, what was tell us about the role you played in that?
Yeah. So my character's name, it was called. It's like even hard to say. It was called Jungle Bunny, but it's just like such a racial like term. But the character had my initials JB, Jason Bernard. So I guess it was really kind of meant to be in some ways. So doing that was wild, because I remember being in the trailer and we had to do blackface, which was makeup that they made. It was MAC this time, but back in the day it was burnt cork with water and all that. And just I remember putting that on. It was so emotionally, and just seeing yourself in the mirror with that makeup and just like something that is not you, but you still see yourself through your eyes. It was the weirdest experience I've ever had in my life. And so
it's almost like putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
Literally.
Pretty much.
Yeah, putting yourself in someone else's shoes, which can be a hard thing for anybody to do, because people always have opinions about other people. But when you're in the shoes, it's like, and judging them, and, people who did do blackface, and it was all those thoughts were going through my mind, So to have a director that was, gently guiding you through it and still helping you, try to be normal with that, and so it was wild.
Did you see yourself maintaining that character throughout the periods of shoots and takes and retakes? And
I just think it was kind of like a darkness and or a quietness that you just had. For me, I just had to maintain about myself, and still finding levity. It was weird. Just kind of living in that space, not doing the, but then also being around my fellow dancers who were all in the same, thing. And, but it was a great learning experience.
What would you say, stage versus film? Which do you gravitate toward? You've done both.
Yeah.
But a lot of stage.
Yes, a lot of stage.
Is that your preference?
Yeah, I love the stage. They always call it the actor's revenge. Because, once you're out there, and what comes out, comes out. I mean, you always follow what the director says, but, things change, based on the audience.
Yes.
Slightly. Yeah.
Well, as a performer, you're up there on stage. That's a kind of a big responsibility in the way that you have to guide that audience to what they're seeing in their experience. You're going to take them with you. And hopefully they go.
You nailed it right on the head. It is it's such a wonderful journey, because we're all human beings in this room, that we're suspending belief that this thing is happening, but if a fire alarm goes off, we know to stop. Stop, drop, and roll, or drop character.
Right.
So that's just always fun. And I'm a human being and I love theater. And so to be able to share that gift as a performer with the audience, it's magic. And it never happens again.
Yes. It's almost like a surreal moment.
Surreal.
Yeah.
Surreal.
Are you able to take yourself in that moment? You've got a lot happening. You've got to perform. You've got to make sure the audience is getting what correctness, form. Do you take the time to go, crap, look at me. I'm like doing this.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. When I first started performing, and I got a lot of my stage strength, I guess you can call it, with river dance, because that was the first time I was really doing 8 shows a week, because with Bringing the Noise, I was understudying. So it's kind of staying in that mind frame, even though you didn't go on, but just being ready. And then so when I was with river dance and I was doing it 8 shows a week, it was a matter of like maintaining consistency and spontaneity. And I kind of, you always get the flip in your stomach. I guess it never goes away.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
But, I just learned how to maintain it. And so for me, what I still keep is that, the universe has brought me to this space.
Yeah.
And if it didn't, I wouldn't be here. And the audience have, paid to see me. So I got to give them theirs. So, I guess to a bit, drop your ego and be free and then let it rip.
Yeah. See, I don't think you would even go the direction of ego. I mean, if we define that as by any means. But what I love you just said is strength.
Yes.
You found your strength.
Yeah.
And a lot of people may not find that, but most actors, actresses, you got to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. To go in front of people.
It's so true. And I think like for me, I listened to so many things, but someone was speaking about just the journey of, us being here. Yeah. There's so many people. I mean, just like starting with like our parents, grandparents, great-great-grandparents, and how they survived and got here. Because my grandfather arrived in America and let me see, I forget the year. I feel like, when was he born? 1903. In like 1918, he came here from Peru. And the way that he came here, it wasn't like, I feel like he like stowed away on a boat. It was, I forget the story a bit. I have to ask my mother. But that. So, and that's how I'm here in Orange today from the choices he made.
His perseverance.
Isn't that wild?
He was seeking a better life.
Yeah.
America.
All of that.
Wow.
And we're here talking.
Yeah.
So I draw on that when I'm performing. I was like, because if he could do that, I could dance on stage. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, which is something I feel like you were born to do.
Yes. And I think it's all part of like his perseverance and then that's just my mother's side. I didn't even get on my father's side yet. So
your parents must be extremely proud of you.
Yes, and I of them. Yeah. I of them. They just celebrated their 53rd wedding anniversary yesterday.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I brought your parents into this, but you flipped it around and said how proud you are of them.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with your granddad. They helped you get you where you are today and what you've learned and your knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Oh, that's pretty darn cool. Then the second part of that conversation we just had is you eight shows per week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's is that 2 on Sundays?
So we would do 2 Sunday nights and 2 Saturdays. So it would be a 5-show weekend. So you have Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
Was there a point where you're just like, I'm exhausted?
Yeah, well, I was very fortunate in that show that like we had one big number. It was at the beginning of the second act. So it was a 10-minute number, but it was like an audience, like crowd pleaser. So you had to like be in there emotionally.
Yeah.
And then, traveling and my 1,000 bags with all my vintage stuff. And so, it'd be like
1,000 bags. I would have easily said 2,000.
2,000, probably 2,000. And lugging that around after like month number 6, you'd be like, oh my goodness. I got to send this stuff home. Just growing. So, but yeah, I loved it. I would always wish it could be 9 shows sometimes. I loved it.
Well, you're hardly home now, so you've just come from some great things, and you're on the way to some great things. You like to travel.
I do. I like to travel. I want to be like Elaine Stritch. She was a great Broadway performer, and she lived in the Carlisle Hotel. I love it.
I love that. I forgot about that. She sure did.
Oh, yeah. Elaine Stritch at Liberty, that show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are there any people along the way, famous, not famous, family, friends that you are so impressed with, that you admire, look up to, drive you?
Yeah. I feel like my life has been like divinely created. I mean, just speaking about my grandfather, that part. But when I was 17 years old or so, the actor, the great Jeffrey Holder, who was the character, I believe his name was Punjab in the movie Annie. He was an incredible choreographer, director, who created the original production of The Wiz on Broadway in 1975.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, but he did all those things. He choreographed it, directed it, costumes, like all of that. And so I met him when I was 17.
Yeah. Wow.
And we had kind of like this back and forth tussle, if you will. So when I met him, he says, "So I hear you're a dancer." And I'm like, "I believe I am." And then he was like, "So you're also a choreographer?" I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm not." He's like, "Yes, you are." I was like, "Oh, no, I'm not." "Yes, you are." "No." "Yes, you are." I was like, "Yes, I am." I am. Yeah. And he
Say it enough and it becomes the truth.
Exactly. Say it enough, it becomes the truth. He was like, "Well," he's like, "pretty much, you know how to put together a puzzle, right? You know the pieces and the parts. You got a mind, right?"
Huh.
And he kind of was like, "That's how you do it." And he kind of like walked away.
Wow. What an impactful moment.
Pretty much. And it was like a 30-second encounter. Wow. He was very tall. I feel like I could be exaggerating, but not. I feel he was like 6'5".
Yeah.
He's very tall. And just to be a dancer at that height, you have to kind of measure things differently because everything in life pretty much is math and science. And so, like, as I go here, he has to go quicker, I believe, to land there as the shorter time,
Yeah.
So when he kind of said that to me, I kind of always, like, remembered it. And so, like, now at the age of 43, where I'm choreographing, and I was like, "Oh, I get it. He was right."
I love that stuck with you.
It did.
And he planted that seed there.
He did.
And here you are.
Mm-hmm.
So the educator piece of you, you teach all ages?
All ages.
All ages.
Yeah.
And do these students, do they stick to the city you're at? Do they travel the world? Do they go on to perform in Broadway themselves?
Yeah. All of those things, yeah. I have a lot of students who go into the medical field.
Okay.
That's great, but it's not dance, but it is dance. It's all choreography.
Yeah.
That's what Jeffrey Holder said, So in dance and art, we learn so many things. I mean, it's all about timing, number one, and... and being in the medical field is all about timing, to a degree, and science. And it's putting together formulas to make them work for the better of all. So, but yeah, a lot of them travel and assist me and work with me. I always see my students that I teach as my coworkers.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time together creating art.
Yeah.
A lot of my students assist me and dance with me, and I train them, so I know they're good.
Yeah, very good.
So,
yeah. Do you find yourself wanting to just go down that path eventually, maybe, or you always continue to perform on your own as well?
Yeah, I like the mix of it both. I think it's good. Yeah. I think, working with my company, LA Dance Magic. Everyone there knows how to do everything. Everything. And again, speaking about ego, there's no ego like connected to it. It's like everyone who works like in the staff and who do that extremely well, they're all professional dancers too. So. Well,
I've seen some clips of a lot of things you've done, but one recurring theme I kept seeing is award shows. You're often asked to perform at award shows.
Yeah.
And I know you've got a fairly important one coming up, and that's a tribute to a Hinton battle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We're doing the IDAs, and that's a piece that I asked Jackie Slight if we could pay homage to him, because a lot of people don't know of Hinton Battle. He was a phenomenal Broadway dancer. When I say phenomenal, it's just like, I mean, when he would like lift his leg, boom, it would like hit his head. It was amazing. Wow. And then go into a full split and then like turn, another full split, and then sing.
All at the same time.
It was just beautiful. So, I don't know if I'm going to be singing and or doing those splits.
I was going to say,
but
lay out this tribute that you're going to be doing for us.
Yes, but so we're doing like it's going to be like the Tap Dance Kid. That was one of the shows he won a Tony for. He won 3 Tonys, one for Sophisticated Ladies, Tap Dance Kid, and Miss Saigon, which not many people in history have won more than 1 Tony.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do my version and show my love and appreciation for his dedication to the art form.
Yeah. That's got to feel good to you.
Oh, yeah.
That you're honoring someone of such great talent.
Yes.
And I'm sure he'd be proud of that as well.
Yes, definitely. So I look forward to it.
Well, these award shows, do you like them? Is it schmoozing? I mean, you're a very social guy.
Yeah.
To be able to walk in there and, I don't know. I would get goosebumps with all the people around me. And the atmosphere and the energy that it brings.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I feel like I'm such a geek. I love, I love people. Like, when I performed at the IDAs a couple years ago, I met Joe Tremaine, who is a prominent dance teacher and dance convention, and I was like, can I take a picture with you? And we selfie did, and I was just like, and even nervous to go up to like ask him, and I like people. I love award shows. I remember growing up watching it with my parents and seeing who the winner was gonna be. I was like, oh my goodness, there's Whitney there. Oh my goodness, there's like a Gloria Stefan. So I love it. So I'm just like in my element, just being around people who I admire.
Yes,
and telling them that I admire them and then performing for them. And I feel like I'm giving my gift back.
Yeah. Well, they're people.
They're
like
people.
Us.
Yeah.
They're doing their job, and I'm sure it's refreshing when they have one of their own peers acknowledge what they do, their strength.
Yeah, definitely.
As you put it.
Yes.
I love that. So you go to these cities. I can tell you probably the first thing you do when you get off the plane, you're Googling the vintage clothing shops.
Yes, that's right. You have to. Yes.
Yes. And we have a couple here in
Orange.
Orange.
Yeah. I go here all the time. Yeah. It's so important because like I feel that I love New York and like, but sometimes those vintage shows, I'm like, okay, why is this t-shirt $5,000?
Right.
It's like, so I just feel like other places, people appreciate it more and appreciate that you can like actually like buy it, afford it, and then use it and wear it and share it, you know? So yeah.
Recycling
it and
best.
Yeah, everything old is new again, Even this shirt, I got this recently.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a baseball shirt and it says Hollywood.
I love that.
Cool. It's clean.
Well, will you be hitting we'll give them a shout out.
Yes.
Elsewhere Vintage here in Orange.
Yes, and Joyride. Every time I go here, it's so cool. Last time I went there, I got this really cool. It was a burgundy leather tie, skinny tie. So nice. Cool.
Yeah.
And then it's a tie case holder that's like red and black tartan plaid, and it zips and it has a little hanger. Oh, so cool.
Nice.
I love that stuff.
Do you gravitate toward one item more than another, say hats?
Mm-hmm.
You love a good hat, right?
Oh, yeah. That's interesting. I don't think I have a lot of vintage hats. Maybe like one. Okay. I think, what do I like mostly? I love shirts, pants. Oh, I recently got these engineer boots at a store in LA. They're amazing. They come up really high.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, those were like 1950s. Those were cool.
Yeah.
So I love stuff like just really unique stuff. I like stuff that like no one else is going to have.
Yeah.
That's always my thing.
You have an eye for that too.
Yeah, really. I mean, I got these. I was in Seattle recently. I got these really beautiful silk and hemp Japanese kimonos.
Oh, wow.
With like carp fish. What do you call them? Koi fish.
Koi fish.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I love that stuff.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So for anyone that's listening that young, old, they have a hint that they like to dance. They want to explore their dance. Any kind of hitting home advice, how to get started or tap into that.
Yeah.
Pun intended. See what I did there?
I love that. That was really good. Yes. Okay. So going on that, everyone, you have to tap dance. I mean, it's just like it, all other styles of dance are so important. I feel that with tap dancing, you are now a dancer and a musician. And that is so important because, and you get to be vocal. I feel like in tap dance, I get to sing as I dance and scat the rhythm.
Yeah.
And it holds you accountable for time. When you have like taps on your shoes, you can't lie about the thought that has come out of your mind and that has transferred through your feet and that has come out. You have to be very truthful. So
it's a flow.
It's a flow.
Yeah.
So having that, so it's really like the thought and your rhythm in your brain that travels through your heart.
There you go.
And
that.
travels down. And so you have to be accountable for the rhythm or the sound or the words that come out of your mouth, pretty much, or out of your feet. And then I would say do everything, and like not going back to that. Going back like to the idea of the ego or not having the ego. I mean, you have to have a small amount to know that you can produce something good, but it's just like do everything. So even if it's like, scrubbing toilets, for example, you have to scrub it really well because if you don't, it's not going to be really good, and your dancing is kind of going to be the same way. Yeah. So if you do that well, you're probably going to do this well, and it's not really a matter of if you like it or not. It's like you have to just do it well. Yeah. And so do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did they say? Yeah, your results will be what you put in.
It's so true. And so there's a lot of things like that I have done. And sometimes I still do that I don't like. I mean, I do it till I don't like it, till I know that I can do it, and I let it go. But you have to learn languages, because it's all communication, really.
Yeah.
How can you communicate with an art form that a lot of people might not be familiar with and don't do? And how can you make it accessible for them to say, oh, I can do that? I think that's why the show A Chorus Line was so amazing, because you could be like a truck driver, and I know a lot of good truck drivers. My family are truck drivers, but they could connect with the story that dancer is telling about what it feels to make it and succeed. Yeah. And that's what being a good artist is, I think.
And I love that. We've never done it, but we're going to. I can tell you that. To experience a play with you would be fun, just because of the conversation after.
Yes.
Because everyone's inside.
Have we never seen a show together?
I don't think we have.
Let me think.
This October.
Okay, we'll make it happen. We'll set it up. Yeah.
But I think the part I would enjoy probably just as much as seeing the play would be the conversation of what you see and what we saw.
That's so funny. Yeah, that would be amazing.
You could tune into it so well. There's what's your favorite? Because we've talked about this before, and you're like, oh yeah, I've seen that like 12 times.
Yeah.
So, I want to go. Yeah. What's your favorite out there right now?
Oh, out there right now. The new Cats.
Okay.
The new Cats is so amazing. Yeah. It takes place at a Vogue ball. And so
I don't know about this. No.
Hopefully when you come, it's been extended now. So hopefully when you come, it'll be more extended or on Broadway. Okay. Fingers crossed.
There's some good stuff off Broadway.
Yeah, that's amazing stuff off Broadway. The Cats is really good. Yeah. I love revivals that change the game.
Yes.
And that's important.
Did you see Jinx Monsoon and Little Shop of Horrors?
No, I didn't. I didn't. And Little Shop of Horrors was my favorite movie growing up. I have to say, don't cancel me, people. I have not seen this production of Little Shop of Horrors.
It's pretty darn good. Talk about mixing it up.
Yes.
She just puts this extra little bit of flavor into it.
It's so important. I love voices, different voices of people. Yeah, expressing. Yeah.
So people are watching. They're taken back from you. How do we see you on social medias? Give us some contacts for you.
Yeah, totally. So I have 2 Instagram pages that has been fun maintaining, just consistency. I have King Broadway JB, which is like my main personal one, family life. But family life is throughout everything. And then my second one is Jason the Fashionista, which I'm doing a different outfit every day for 366 days. Wow. And so I'm up to day number 207.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's been fun. And that's just fun.
So you say fun, challenging?
Challenging, very challenging. Challenging to, and pretty much taking inventory of all the clothes I have. Wow. And how can I mix them up so well? And I feel like it's all related to art and directing, and I take photos everywhere in places you wouldn't imagine that you could take a photo, even if it's just by, I don't know, just a tree. Yes. That tree has life and has meaning too. So, yeah.
Okay. So we got that website.
No, I don't have a website yet. I used to, but this is kind of like my website. So I post all the things that I do, and
Well, social media is
It is.
that these
Yeah,
days.
it is. Yeah.
You know?
But a website would be nice. It's always good, you know. I'll direct it like, you know, you come in, it'll be like, you know, red curtains that will like separate into like the stage. Yeah. Something like that.
Well, this your energy is amazing.
Likewise.
Jason.
Thank you.
I just in this little bit of conversation, I've gleaned so much from it, and given me some different perspectives on what you do in that world. And I thank you very much for coming and sitting.
Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate you. We made it happen.
We made it happen. I love it. You know, careful what you wish for around here.
That's right. Oh, that's a good one. I love that. Careful what you wish for.
But safe travels in your upcoming weeks. And anytime you're near or around the city of Orange, you've got a seat on that sofa.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Right.